Alwyn down there. You know, she really
No,
did.
Nathan, what factually is an asshole?
No.
Hang on, Nathan. What
It's just
Nathan? What
sad.
factually is an asshole?
It's something that stinks and pumps out shit.
And
There
that's
you
what
go.
you think Alan is, yeah?
I think what he's done is pump out a load of shit in Anthony's direction. And then when the same shit is pumped in his direction, he doesn't want to tolerate his own shit because he's an asshole.
The problem is that Arwen doesn't really
Don't take that.
work as a Arwen doesn't work as a team. He doesn't let things go if it suits him. He has to go right to the end because we don't completely work with him 100%. Arwen, you're hard work. You don't realise that somebody's actually on your side.
he's okay.
On my side? What do you mean?
Well, we're standing up for you against Tony picking on you.
I know, and I do appreciate that. Really, I
And I
do.
don't agree with you on anything. But I can see it. And it's unfair.
The only reason why this subject keeps going on and on and on is because Anthony picks on Arwen, and that's it.
Exactly.
We would have moved off. We would have moved on from this if we had Ranty back with us, giving us actual evidence of flat or curve. We'd have so much more constructive discussion going on.
Get Mark playing
But now that-
Ranty off Anthony.
Mark-
Love it.
Nathan, shut up. Now that we've got Ranty,
You know it, man. You know it.
Ranty's in with this.
If
Ranty's
only
in the
Ranty were
distance.
here, we'd be having a much better conversation.
Well,
And if we would just shut up,
free.
if we just let Arwen speak and nobody refuted, that's it. We just let it slide and continue. No, same rule for everybody. If you make a claim, if you think you got proof of something, prove it. Show evidence. You know. Period.
why
So
are you
Alwyn, like the
here?
crazy
If you
professor we
actually
reel out from
ask
time to time.
like a
Flat,
sign
no,
of actually understanding things is asking relevant questions about details of it, and you guys never do it, and that's a sign that you just don't get it.
Why am I here? I'm here
You
to
can
learn.
recite
I'm
it,
here
but
to
you
Hold
learn
on,
the
you're
truth.
saying we're stupid because we don't ask
Otherwise,
relevant
I would
questions.
be getting very specific
Hold on,
questions.
Arwen, you're saying we're stupid
about
because we don't
details.
ask relevant questions of you about your Just So story.
Well, I do with the Globers in
So you
their
make
Just So
assertions,
stories
you're not
because
asking
I get their
questions.
concept.
So let me get
It's
it
a
straight.
sign of
Let me get it
insight.
straight, Arwen. You make assertions, and because we don't question your assertions, we absolutely do question your assertions, Arwen. Let's get that clear.
I know that. And that's
Yeah, so you've just said we're stupid because we don't ask enough questions. Well, we're questioning
you don't
your
ask
assertions.
specific type
You're
of
not asking questions.
What kind
You're
of
making
specific
assertions.
questions would you like us to ask you then? I mean, I was trying to ask you earlier, then the point
What
just
do
got
we need to know
obfuscated.
about your Just So
To the
story,
max.
Arwen? You tell us.
Well, let's see.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Mark Doxy, Jose, Event Horizon, Earth Flattener, Arwen, and Alan. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Gravity.
Gravity.
Bullshit.
Gravity, boom.
You're joined by CGI Ranty. How you doing?
Hello.
Good to have you.
Hi.
Bloody hell.
Hello.
So, let's do a bit of housekeeping as we've got a fairly mixed panel. Any signs of Earth curve?
Absolutely no signs of curvature at all. Alan, have you got any signs of curvature?
All around this egg custard I'm eating.
Always of the Earth-based variety. Anybody else? Any
Can you
signs
see the
of curve?
pattern here that?
Earth curve?
Can you see the pattern here that Anthony just picks on the disadvantaged?
The ones who assert beliefs.
Yeah, that's right. What the show's about.
The people with just so stories.
It's all about.
Yeah.
It's all about you, is it, Anthony?
No, not at all. It's all about the ballers, mate.
It
And the
is.
evidence claims that they can
It's all
prove.
about you. You
What's the
speak
problem,
more than
Mark?
anybody.
Seriously, all
And
we've
the
had is a baller assert that rather than answer the question, he asserted that he has something curvature around his custard or something like that. Well, what's the issue? So far, no problem. I don't get it.
No, Alan plays a great game, and so does Sleeping Warrior. Next question.
Any signs of axial rotation specifically of the Earth-based variety? No custard.
Absolutely none. Alan, is there any evidence of an axial rotation?
Cavendish.
How's that an axial rotation?
Sorry,
That's
I
nothing to
think
do with that.
you're getting confused there.
I
Cavendish.
know. It was supposed to be funny.
I see.
Yeah,
it was funny. It did make me
for
laugh.
The reasons that you
Descended it into farce with the wrong experiment.
didn't. You
I think he meant focal, but it was funny. Hello, you. Who is that? It's QC. Hello, QC. Hello. Hello, new guest. Ultimate QC.
gonna kick it.
Hey, good day.
Casey.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
My bad. It's not QC at all. I can just see it on your icon. It's Casey, isn't it? Can I call you Casey?
Yeah, Casey's fine.
Cool. Good to have you, Casey. So, any evidence that you can have
here.
gas pressure without a container?
Beethoven.
Beethoven?
There's no evidence of it.
Forecourt.
Cavendish got mentioned.
You know, there was an episode once of Have I Got News For You where they had Eddie Izzard on, and he gave the answer to one of the questions as jam. So it was just farcical. He's descending it into farce, a bit like Alan did by giving the wrong quasi experiment. So he says jam, and everyone roars with laughter. The following week, they had Piers Morgan on, and they ask a question, and he says, "Is the answer jam?" And it got basically the same reaction as Mark got, which is stunned silence, because it's all about the timing and all about the person that delivers the line. No offence. We just assumed you were being serious, or I did, when you said Beethoven is proof of gas pressure without a container. So no, Beethoven definitely doesn't count.
You say Mark's not funny?
No, it's just the timing on that instance. You'd already used up all of the fuel that gag had. Let's put it that way. So is that any evidence of a gas pressure without a container, other than Beethoven?
Ultimate KC, is there any examples of a gas pressure next to a vacuum or without a container?
I kicked them. He's CGI Ranty.
Oh,
right. I see. Fair enough.
I mean, you see Ranty as well, though. Yes.
To be fair, he's never come on and actually said anything other than hello, and then he just sits there. So is that a no? No evidence of gas pressure without a container?
Absolutely not. You can't have a gas pressure without a container, and you can't have a gas pressure exist next to a vacuum without a membrane.
Where's the lid then?
Anybody?
We don't know.
Anybody else?
Do you think,
Alan?
Arwin, do you think there's a lid?
Maybe. There should be a containment of some kind. Maybe it's the bottom of the earth.
Why?
Because it
Why
has
would
to
there be a lid?
Can't be infinite.
So
The pressure's got to come from somewhere.
correct. To have a gas pressure you must first have a container. It is the necessary antecedent. Hence the question, any demonstrations of gas pressure without a container?
Do you subscribe to the high altitude balloon footage that we have?
What do you mean subscribe to it?
Do you
Like a
believe it?
monthly subscription?
I don't understand how this addresses the question.
Weekly.
Just explain to me how this addresses the point.
Are you claiming fraud?
Hold on. Does this demonstrate gas pressure without a container?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, that's not much
You
use.
But
then.
it's-
but it's got a camera looking is demonstrating gas pressure next to a container.
Do you think it's worth investigating, though?
Sorry, I don't really understand
Of
the
course
point.
it is. The confinement are worth investigating. Sure it is.
Sorry, the question on the table. Is there any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
What's the relevance of the question?
Because, according to the heliocentric ball-busting idiots, they believe that we, Earth, a sphere, is centered around space, this infinite vacuum. Now, we definitely have gas pressure. I'm breathing it right now. But the other bit that's asserted by the globe believers is outer space, a vacuum. Now, I would assert that you can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum because of entropy. The gas would try and fill that vacuum. So, if anybody asserts that we have outer space, a vacuum, I would need a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. Because I can give you a million examples of gas pressure being maintained with a container, no problem.
A million.
So here we are at the crux of it all, I think.
But
So that if we argue that atmosphere would equilibrate into a vacuum, but that is not happening,
shouldn't
The
it equilibrate
explanation-
into a container, though?
no, don't miss my point. My point is that what we
I'm
know
sorry.
of, that's okay. What we know of entropy, and when we don't see that happening with our atmosphere, what is the explanation? If the explanation is, well, there must be some force in a gradient force that we call gravity, what's the proof of that? There's no demonstrable proof. It's just an idea used to explain, well, there must be space out there. And since we know that atmosphere should equilibrate, but it's not equilibrating, then there must be an explanation besides the fact that there's a container.
Travis, question. Can pressure exist without a container?
It is the necessary antecedent, unless you are to
Your name
show
Travis?
us.
Is your name Travis?
It's my question. My question. Show us gas pressure
I'm
without a
asking
container. Hey, Travis, can you have gas pressure without a container? I asked the question. So, do you want to give me an answer, Alan? Can you demonstrate gas pressure without a container? Or do you just have a ball belief, a religion in outer space? A space religion
It's an
called
oversimplification.
heliocentrism.
An oversimplification.
So, my question to the panel, not your question to Travis, can you demonstrate gas pressure without a container, Alan?
The air that you're breathing right now.
Yeah, I know I'm breathing the air. What about the vacuum of space? The bit your space religion's based on? Can you demonstrate that that is at all possible by way of a gas being maintained without a container? My question to the panel, not your question to Travis.
The air that you're breathing right now.
Yeah, I know we've got
container
air. I know we've got gas pressure. Are you deaf? The bit I take a bit of an issue with is the other bit that we don't see. Not the bit I do see and experience. The gas pressure I am 100% certain of. That doesn't prove vacuum of space, asshole.
Do you mean you don't believe in outer space, Alan? In outer space, like all the good stuff, the vacuum and the emptiness? You don't believe in none of that?
I'm not talking to you. You believe anything, depending on which panel you're on. so you don't care.
So is that a demonstration of gas pressure without a container, or are you just going to ask my question to someone else, Alan?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, the question on the table, it's been asked about 4 or 5 times now. Can you, Alan B, demonstrate gas pressure without a container to affirm your religious space belief?
The air that I'm breathing.
Yeah, that proves the
That's
pressure.
a circular argument.
That proves the
No
pressure.
visible container.
Yeah, I'm just
No
do it
visible
again.
container.
I'll
It's a
ask
red
you one more
herring.
time. If you do it again and assert one side of this story, so I'll make it really clear for a thicko, really clear for you, Alan. There's 2 sides to this story. One side of the story I'm certain of, and you're certain of, you've just confirmed it. We definitely have a gas pressure. That bit we're all in agreement on. The other bit is the vacuum of space. So, in order for having this gas pressure next to that vacuum of space, you would need a containerless container, because there are no demonstrations of gas pressure without a container unless you're about to give me one. Saying there's gas pressure just asserts your religious belief that you think we can have it without a container. I'm asking for that to be demonstrated. Not the gas pressure, we all know we've got that. The gas pressure without a container, analogous to your religion about a ball in a vacuum.
Where's the container?
Yeah, I'm asking you for a demonstration of that. Again, you're asking my question back to me like it has any weight or validity. You have a space religion. You believe the ball Earth is in the vacuum of space. That's your belief, not mine. I think it's ludicrous because, guess what? You can't have gas pressure without a container. Now, unless you want to disagree with that statement of fact, that you cannot have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent, a container, then shut your mouth or demonstrate it.
What about...
No, don't
high
ask me
altitude
something, asshole. Are you going to demonstrate it or
All right,
not?
then. You nasty little man.
Don't call me nasty little man. I've asked the question 6 times. You've obfuscated it continually. You've affirmed that we have a gas pressure, which no one's arguing with. We're trying to get to the bit about your bloody space religion. Not about the gas pressure. Not about my attitude towards assholes like you.
High altitude balloons show images at the top of the atmosphere. No dome. No container.
Sorry. A necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container. That is a fact.
How would you see it if there's no light shining on
No.
it?
It's a necessary antecedent. You can't have gas pressure without a container, Alan. It is a necessary antecedent. So to say I can't see the container, I don't care. I'm not asserting anything about a dome. Your space religion has a vacuum of space. That vacuum of space defies the second law of thermodynamics. So unless you can show me gas pressure without a container, like your space religion demands, then let's move on to the distance to the bullshit sun that you think is 93 million miles away.
Do you not think that the high altitude balloon images that Alan mentioned are worth investigating?
Sorry, do they demonstrate gas pressure without a container, or do they just confirm
They
your
could.
religious belief based on not seeing something? So an argument from ignorance, another logical fallacy. Do I need to take 5 minutes to point out... Excuse me. Do I need to take 5 minutes to point out what an argument from ignorance is, or can we confirm that the high altitude balloon does not demonstrate gas pressure without a container?
I agree with you, Nathan.
Excellent. So shut your stupid mouth about these bloody balloons, as they don't prove the point. Okay? So why are you bringing this up if you agree with me that they don't demonstrate gas pressure without a container? Is it a straw man by any chance?
Wait, it's worth investigating though, isn't it?
What?
Jesus Christ.
Investigating what?
Well, what's going on there? We see the top
container.
of
What's
the
going
atmosphere,
on? That's your question.
and then we see nothing.
Let me answer
The
you.
container
I'll tell
is
you what's
worth
going on. A balloon
investigating.
goes up.
You can see the. I might get
The
a chance to
container
talk,
is
will I?
worth investigating.
Yeah,
That's
bloody
true.
oath it is, Owen.
Of course. And we need to.
Sorry, what's your
eventually.
claim about these high altitude balloons?
They can see the top of the atmosphere.
Oh,
Visible.
really?
You can see the air. You can see like the air pressure.
You can
stops at a
see
certain
air pressure?
point.
What kind of retard are you?
Oh, the
sorry,
the
stop.
atmosphere. Sorry, the
Stop.
atmosphere.
Stop. You cannot see air pressure. You unbelievable retard.
I meant atmosphere.
Sorry, you can't
I
see
apologise.
the
I
thing
meant to
we are
say
talking. Sorry,
atmosphere,
so let's
you
get it
nom.
clear. You're asking us to investigate what we can see, even though we can't see pressure.
Well, do something about it.
Sorry, do something about what? Not being able to see pressure?
Yeah, do something about
Oh
it.
yeah, I'll do something about that. I'll get in touch with Superman and see if he can give me some special bionic eyes that allow me to see gas pressure. Okay, dickhead? Is that good enough for you? Is that enough investigation for
No
your
worries.
high-altitude balloons that prove absolutely nothing
Go for it.
when it comes to gas pressure
Go
without a
for it.
container? So this straw man ends here was idiot.
Was you
There's a phone
Sorry,
booth
what
near
part
me
of
that's
this
got a
straw man
direct
ends
line to
here don't
Superman.
you understand? This straw man ends here. We don't see
Straw man. Yeah, right.
gas pressure without a container from high altitude balloons was. Is that clear?
Yes, that's clear.
Good.
I did
Now
correct
shut
myself,
up.
though.
Now shut your
But you were
stupid
too
mouth.
busy talking.
You can add something to this conversation. You can add silence. Thank you.
I can add something.
Excellent.
If you shut up, I can add something.
No, I'm halfway through asking housekeeping questions. You've offered
Oh, okay, carry on.
garbage. That's
Carry
what
on.
you've offered was.
Oh,
You've
carry on, mate.
answered gas pressure without a container with high altitude balloon
Carry on.
footage. Don't have to ask
Next
me to carry
question.
on. This is my show. I'll talk
Your
when
show,
I choose
carry
to.
on.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me to carry on. It's my
carry
show.
on then.
Okay, I won't tell you to carry on. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, let's
No,
have the
let's
next question.
do it once more, was you cheeky twat, and I'll just kick you out. Yeah, laugh your head off, laugh it up. You are the stupidest person here. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on. I'll just clarify one more time that was offered garbage. We asked for gas pressure without a container. He gave us visuals from a high altitude balloon. I will assert now that is based on his stupidity. He is the most dumb person here, and I will highlight that every time he speaks from now on. Why would you assert that we can see gas pressure, moron? Do you think we are Superman, moron? Do you think we have bionic eyes, moron? Or was your argument garbage because you're stupid? Yeah, it was because you're stupid and you've got a garbage
stupid,
argument.
mate. I'm stupid. Don't you understand that yet?
I do understand it. You are stupid. We all understand it. Everyone
Thank you.
watching understands it. Everybody
I am actually
understands
beyond
implicitly
stupid.
that you are stupid. Otherwise, you wouldn't
No,
offer
I'm
high
beyond
altitude
stupid.
balloon footage as an answer to can you demonstrate gas pressure without a container. Only a stupid
I'm
person
so
would offer that.
stupid.
That's you. You are
It
that
was-
stupid
it was
person.
worth
That's why I'm
investigating, though.
highlighting it while you interrupt me. You are that stupid.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
Carry on. Next
you
question.
You can't apologise for your own stupidity. You're just stupid.
I can. I apologise for my genetics.
Yeah.
Are you stupid?
I think I might be.
I know you are. You've demonstrated it. Don't think it. That's another sign of just how stupid you are. It's been demonstrated to you. Do you want me to
Are you
demonstrate it
familiar
again?
with
It's no
stupidity,
problem.
Nathan?
No problem. Try and open your ears so that you don't think it, you
What?
know it. I want to make it clear. I asked for gas pressure without a container. You gave me the visuals from a high altitude balloon. That makes you stupid.
not-
Don't think it, know it.
You're an
know it
authority.
implicitly,
You're an
was.
authority on
Know
stupidity,
it.
are you?
Shut up. This is why you're stupid. You talk when you should listen. You don't need to think you're
What?
stupid anymore, friend. Now you can know it implicitly based on my demonstration of what you've said. You can
Wow,
know
man.
that you're stupid. You don't need to think it anymore. You don't need to be in any doubt. It is proven.
Thank you.
QED.
Okay.
You are demonstrably stupid. Thank you, Was. You
By-
can stop interrupting and
by you,
talking
the
now.
authority.
Until you take a
What-
back
what?
seat, I will continue to berate you. At what point
Okay,
will you
carry on.
understand how stupid you are being by continually talking, stopping me from moving on to a different point? Because the point that you
Berate
tried to
away.
address was addressed with high altitude balloon footage, demonstrating to the audience how stupid you really are.
Carry on.
You
What,
don't
how
need
does
to
it
tell
feel to
me.
be told
Oh,
that you
right.
did
So
both
time for
wrong
was to
to
go. What part of you don't produce this show don't you understand? I say when we move on. I run the show. So by telling me to move on, I kick you out because you're a stupid idiot. So you can't listen. You didn't get it. I've demonstrated just how stupid you are to a good couple of 100 people. 200 people exactly. Thanks for tuning in. Event Horizon. So let's move on.
Hello, buddy, you're right.
Finally, any evidence for the distance to the sun?
Nah.
Mumble, 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 mumble.
The sun.
There's no proof that it's physical.
The distance to the sun is a reification fallacy.
There's a lot of reification fallacies, as we found out yesterday when we discussed this.
Huh.
Yep. It's
There's
the
a
phrase
lot,
of the week.
seriously is. Lots of people like
It's
to
a
imagine things to be real. That's a real
You learn to
ball
do
of fire
that,
there.
It's highly presuppositional, so I guess.
Do you know what else is a reification fallacy? That the Earth's got a molten iron core.
Is this new to you? Reification fallacy. Is this new to you? Is it?
Yeah. It's
It is
my
actually.
word of the week.
Just don't mind admitting it. I thought I understood what it meant. I thought it was more like anthropomorphization, but it's not. There's more to it.
Yeah, and it is basically heliocentrism is reification.
It is. It is. The map is not the territory.
I found a new tone to bark with. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yep.
I'm really pleased with it too. You'll hear that word a lot, audience.
I know we are. Are we familiar with the logical fallacy?
Yes. So to assert that something is absolutely untrue simply because somebody has formulated the expression of that fact in a fallacy is the fallacy. So if I say, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but essentially if I use a logical fallacy to justify something that is actually factually correct, it doesn't automatically make what I state incorrect just because it's been formulated in a logical fallacy. That's the fallacy.
Yeah. Are we all guilty of that?
No.
If you call logical, are we all? If we call logical fallacy, are we questioning the argument or the method of argument rather than the actual truth of the discussion?
That's what logic is.
But to call logical fallacy,
logic is deductive.
No, but to call logical fallacy because somebody uses a poor argument doesn't mean that you are right. And I think everybody's falling for that.
That's not the logical fallacy. The logical fallacy would be to say that, for example, here you go, I'll toss you a bone. So to assert that because it's been formulated in a fallacy, gravity isn't real, is the fallacy, if it's demonstrably proven to be true. But it isn't. So we're not falling victim to the fallacy just because you have no proof, therefore we can't disprove it. That would be an argument from ignorance fallacy.
Right. So it's a formological fallacy squared, basically.
No, not at all. You would have to demonstrate
if
that
somebody
what you
uses
assert...
a logical fallacy, it doesn't mean that they are wrong.
No, that's not true either. No, that's not true. That's not true. The reverse isn't true. Just because... No, it's not.
It is true. Absolutely true.
Oh,
Nathan,
right.
Just hang on a minute. If somebody resorts to an ad hominem argument, they attack me rather than the argument, it doesn't mean to say that I am wrong. It just means that their reasoning is faulty.
No, it's the other way around. It's them who are wrong. So if somebody accuses you of being an idiot, rather than addressing the argument, then they have used a fallacy. Now, that doesn't mean that they are ultimately incorrect for having used a fallacy to attack your point, an ad hominem.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make them incorrect.
No, but to call logical fallacy in an argument doesn't mean that you are right either.
Well, yeah,
no, but it's
you can show that the reasoning. It shows that the reasoning behind the assertion is fallacious, as opposed to logically sound.
Yes, but if somebody says to you logical fallacy, doesn't mean that they are right. It just means that your reasoning is wrong.
No, it means that your argument that you're presenting is not being presented in a way that's logical.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not.
Oh,
Hold on. When you
Oh,
attack,
if
hold
there
on.
were only
Let me just get this one last point in.
scientific-
When you attack somebody's argument, you aren't making a claim. You're attacking their argument. So to say, well, that doesn't make you right. Well, chances are you're not even making a claim. So it's not about the person who is pointing out the fallacy being right. I'm not ultimately saying that gravity is right or wrong when I pick apart a just so story based on its fallacy. That's just me picking it apart. I'm not making an assertion either way.
There's too many people rest on the fact that you used a logical fallacy, so therefore you must be wrong in total.
No, it means come back and represent your position without a fallacy attached to it.
Exactly. Present it with
Good,
firm
that's
evidence.
fine. That's fine. But it's a weak argument for you to call this new logical fallacy that you've discovered.
Why?
No,
if it's being used, that's perfectly reasonable. It's just it's a fallacy in logical
I want to
reasoning.
lament.
Go on, Travis.
Let him try it out in his universe.
Hold on, Travis has been trying to get in for ages. Go on, Travis.
I want to lament. That there were a show that would go through logical fallacies and explain all of these things to us.
What's that you say, Travis?
There will be. So on Thursday this week, so tomorrow, John and I will discuss logical fallacies in great detail. So tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. UK time. I think it's 12 p.m. Central time. So yeah, be here or be sphere. Logical fallacies, in depth, science versus pseudoscience. 6 p.m. UK time.
We will listen to
Nathan
that.
Oakley 1980.
Yeah, we will listen to that.
And you can
My
chuck
point
tomatoes.
is still
You chuck
valid.
happy
If
cherry
somebody
tomatoes
calls
at the
logical
screen.
fallacy, it doesn't mean that the argument is wrong. It
Well,
means
let
that
me-
the
Let me
method
address
of
that.
argument is
But
weak.
that is
go ahead.
exactly what it means. It means the argument, i.e. the nature, the logical steps taken to come to the conclusion, are wrong. That's exactly what it does mean, Mark. That's why you would point out a logical
No, it doesn't.
fallacy.
If you're having a debate with somebody and they use a logical fallacy, it doesn't mean that they are wrong. It just means that their method of argument is weak.
Yeah,
So can I
they have to
respond
come
to
up- So
In
they
this
have to come up with a better way of expressing how they are correct without using fallacious reasoning.
But it's not a trump card, though, is it?
It would usually come with some form of evidence attached, though, wouldn't it?
It's basically a technicality, but it is very important because it breaks down the entire fundamental theory.
Yes, it's important, but it's not a trump card.
Well, it
No,
can.
it means
could
that you guys
potentially
make.
be over-
It means the point being made is not being logically asserted.
But you can't just sort of rest on your laurels and say, I'm right because you used a logical fallacy.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that your position is untenable at this state.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
how
Mark-
a debate
Mark,
works.
he's
Hold
right.
on, sorry, so I've just got to get this in. That's how a debate works. So one person presents their argument, you attack their reasoning and logic, and then if you are to present
Yes.
a rebuttal, i.e. a position of your own, you would assert why your position makes more sense than theirs, and vice versa.
Correct, but to call logical fallacy and to claim a victory is weak.
It's not claiming of a victory. It's dismissing
Oh,
the
you
point
do
being
that.
made.
No, you do that. No, every
No.
time you claim you've got a
Well, that's your
victory.
perception of what's
Yeah,
happening.
but Mark,
What's
in this
actually happening is
case,
the point being made is dismissed.
Mark, when it comes to formological fallacies and those, he's really right because those are usually used, especially by the ballers, in their core structuring of their entire argument. So yeah, that matters a lot. It is a direct victory because it's at the core. It's not just a little scenario that they point out wrong and use a formological fallacy. Although they do that sometimes, it is that it's right there at the core of it.
You've got to be careful with that one, Owen. If you think that they've used a logical fallacy and you claim a victory, then it's shaky ground.
Not
Let
if
them-
it is part,
You're not
not if the
saying
formological fallacy is part of their fundamental theory.
No. It's not claiming a victory by declaring some a form of logical fallacy. It means that the point being made at hand can be dropped, not lost or won, dropped.
Good man. I agree with you. And we've got to
Right.
be careful when you call logical fallacy, you've got to be. You're not on that good a status to claim a victory. You've got to be
It's not-
remember that.
It's not claiming a victory.
right.
It's saying the other
An
person
assertion.
is not correct in
Okay,
their
that's fine.
assertion. So they're saying, I assert X, with this logical reasoning, and you say, well, you're claiming X with this reasoning, but your reasoning is not sound. Now, that's not to say that afterwards you might present your own argument for what X is or is not. But at that stage, when you call logical fallacy, you're just explaining that their reasoning is not sound for the position that they hold.
So X might be true, but their reasoning was false.
Correct.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's up to them to come back with a better argument. So usually with some evidence attached to it.
Yeah, so let's give an example. They come along and they assert that we have a radius, and then they present only a fallacious logic for that being the case. It doesn't necessarily follow that we have a radius, a sphere Earth, based on a presumption from a light in the sky. But that would be their reasoning. Now, if you then say, well, that doesn't make it not true, no problem. Well, give me better evidence of radius. Something other than a logical fallacy.
I agree with you. If somebody resorts to argumentum ad hominem and you call them out on that, it doesn't mean that they're wrong, though. They might be right. They just got stuck in their...
No, that usually means they're wrong.
No, it doesn't.
Or
No,
that they're just really frustrated about not knowing where to go, having
that's where we started, Darwin. That's the fallacy. That's where we started. So to immediately say your reasoning is logic, therefore the conclusion ipso facto is incorrect, is wrong. You can't say that just because somebody's used fallacious reasoning that what they detail is by matter of fact therefore proven incorrect. That's not the case. It's just that their argument and the conclusion they draw from their argument has used fallacious reasoning. Therefore, if that is the only method to get to a conclusion, then you can disregard that conclusion because there's no strong evidence to actually back it if you've only got logical fallacy. Now, that's not to say that with something else, I make an assertion with fallacious reasoning, but that thing can be, with a different means, proven demonstrably. That might still be the case, but I'm certainly not presenting that when I present it with a fallacious reasoning behind it.
And
the foundation has to be sound.
Let me give you an example, Mark. Father Christmas is reification fallacy because it's a fallacy. You know that it's an abstract concept, a belief, right? Father Christmas is not real. We can both agree on that, correct? But Father Christmas is treated as though we were real.
For you to throw this reification fallacy against Mia and Arwen and claim a victory is a weak position to be in.
Right, we just talked about it for 15 minutes, right? It's not claiming a victory. It means the point is void from the start.
Yeah, okay. I mean, to say that the map is
not victory.
Okay, there was a quote earlier on today. The map is not the territory. That doesn't relate to our observations that what goes up comes down. I think it's a total obfuscation point that you're making with this reification fallacy. It is new to me, by the way. I'm going to have to look at that one.
Okay.
I've got it on screen right now. If Nathan will share it.
Yeah, I've got to digest it and think about it, and
it's really simple. Look, it says a fallacy of ambiguity where an abstract belief or hypothetical construct is treated as though it were a concrete real event or physical entity.
Yeah.
Father Christmas, for example, is an abstract belief, right? It's not real, but everybody treats Father Christmas as though it were a real event or a physical entity, right? Because everybody gets Christmas presents.
Everybody, only kids under the age of 10.
No, parents treat him as real as well.
No, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, Father Christmas would be fake for everybody.
Hold on.
Really?
Have you ever put carrots out for Rudolph, Mark?
Yeah, he dresses up at
Have you ever
Christmas.
put carrots out as Rudolph? For Rudolph? Carrots.
What, me?
Yeah, you personally.
He
have
said
you ever put a carrot
everybody
out?
Doesn't do that.
Just tell me if you have or haven't put carrots out. Be honest.
Brace yourself for a shock. I hate Christmas. I do not celebrate Christmas. I think it's fundamentally crap.
Oh,
money
come
making.
on. Work with me.
You're talking to the wrong person here.
But okay, fine. Let's pretend for a moment
I'm
there
sorry
is a
to
normal Joe Normal on the panel.
However that may be, the mythology of Christmas is kept alive by the adults,
Please,
isn't it?
please, don't let this point get lost. For the guy that puts carrots out for Rudolph, he is reifying the idea of Rudolph coming and eating those carrots. Now, it may well be the case that person appreciates they're not real.
My partner would do that.
Say again?
My partner would do that. My partner would do that, but I would be saying, "Will you stop that stupid idiocy?"
Well,
right, but that's why I say to Arwen, stop with your stupid idiocy.
But the thing is, it's important we learn how these arguments work, because these are the arguments that have been used against us. They're also how we've been taught. We've been taught to beg the question at school. We've been taught to take affirmative consequence as proof. So we're finding this out. And right, we're starting using it against each other, but logically we should be using it against them, and that's what we should be doing. And if we're going to be talking, yeah, I'll let you guys go with that.
We are against them. Arwen keeps talking about it as though he's one of them.
That's unfair.
It's true though.
Arwen was out of the conversation at this stage. You've just dragged him back in, which is a bit unfair. Kept very quiet, presumably intentionally.
It's been 30 minutes since he tormented him.
Oh, what's that, Alan?
Doesn't change the fallacy is a valid one though.
Not picking on him. We're picking on his rhetoric.
Yeah, absolutely. Not picking on Arwen, picking on Arwen's position.
Mm-hmm.
The state of the argument always comes back to, can you come back with better evidence? And we're talking about nature and the natural world. So it always comes back down to scientific evidence, doesn't it? Which was my point in the first show. Whatever we're doing, we're studying the natural world. So it's science. And it's that method. It doesn't matter who says the method. The method is very stipulant in the way that it's structured. So we're looking at the natural world, and we're having arguments about it. And it's semantics. It's the way we have formological fallacies. It's the ad homs and the mudslinging, and the way the arguments were first thrown against us that we're now, throwing back at them.
And let's be honest, it can all be reduced a lot by just providing evidence that things are true.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier. The argument always comes back to, you haven't formulated your argument well enough because of this type of fallacy. Can you come back with evidence? And if you come back, it always is going to come back down to, we're studying the natural world. Where's your scientific evidence?
It's an easy card to play by just calling logical fallacy.
No.
It's an easy card to play to get them to come back down to the point of, where's your scientific evidence?
Yeah. Why present shitty evidence and then whinge that you've been called on it in some way because a fallacy?
Because they're believing in formological fallacies. They're begging the question and taking it as for granted. They are.
Okay, I accept that, but I've heard Anthony refer to Hitchens' razor.
So could we.
And
in fact, I do.
And that is in itself. But that in itself is a logical fallacy. But you appeal to that one.
Let's hear it again.
Why is Hitchens' razor a logical fallacy?
Come on, repeat Hitchens' razor.
Give it to me again.
Hitchens' fallacy is where assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence, but the burden of proof relies on the person that presents the assertion. So if you're going to present no evidence for your assertion, then why should we find evidence to dismiss your non-evidence?
You added quite a lot to it. What's his actual quote?
Assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Okay, so if the assertion is actually correct, is it dismissed as false?
No, that's a different question.
It's not. If somebody asserts that water is wet, but doesn't actually give the evidence that water is wet, do we dismiss it as faulty evidence or faulty reasoning?
It's not contentious, no.
Water's not wet; it makes you wet.
Well, we can... Uh-oh. If somebody makes an assertion, it may be right or it may be wrong, but if they don't present evidence, it doesn't make it either right or wrong, so it's a faulty reasoning.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point Anthony's making, Mark.
if it's contentious, Mark, evidence is required to prove the assertion to be true, and the evidence is required from the person that
I'm
makes
talking
the...
about Hitchens.
Yeah,
Hitchens says to the Christian who Hitchens says to the Christian who says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and he says, well, where's your evidence for that? Because you've made the assumption. Oh, he definitely is. Hitchens was definitely saying that. That was the context of his trite logical fallacy.
For the person that asserts that in the beginning God made the heavens and the earth, somebody says, what's the evidence that supports it? Then somebody then says, well, I don't really have any evidence. It's written in this book. And then Hitchens says, well, he who asserts without any evidence can be dismissed without any evidence, unless you accept the evidence of the book. Because the book is actually evidence. How strong is moot. But the point is that there is the evidence with that assertion that is the book. But it's when there's no evidence.
No evidence.
There's no evidence.
The book isn't evidence.
In your opinion, but it is evidence. Whether it's strong.
No, it's a permanent consequent, the book and the creation that the book is in. So the world says the world is
it's still a witness statement.
On that one, yeah. The book,
it is evidence. Whether you accept the evidence or not is an issue.
That's God because God.
Tony, you have resorted to the Hitchens razor as a victory, when in fact when you dissect what he said, it's a lot.
Saying this is wrong. This is fallacious, Mark. Referring to Hitchens' razor is not claiming a victory. Referring to Hitchens' razor basically puts the position back to the person that made the assertion to prove it, or the assertion is dismissed.
And isn't that a logical fallacy as well, by reversing the burden of proof?
No, he's challenging the person who makes the assertion, Mark. So you make an assertion that water is wet, and Anthony says, there's no evidence that you presented. What evidence do you have? And you present a logical fallacy. Then you've still not presented any evidence, so he can dismiss it. He's not saying it's...
Alan B., what do you mean the book isn't evidence? Just the other day you were using a spacesuit manual to prove spacesuits.
Yeah, Alan, that's a valid point, mate. Well done.
Contradiction fallacy.
Well, there you go. Contradiction fallacy. You must be right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but you seem to think that if there's a fallacy asserted, that therefore means victory. But actually, if a fallacy is asserted, it means that the assertion is void.
No, you've totally got me wrong.
So why are you claiming victory?
I'm not. Did I claim a victory?
No, you're saying that I'm claiming a victory.
Well, it's so easy to call logical fallacy and then sit back and think, I got the victory there. And that's the whole point of the logical
victories. Asking you to come back with a better argument, better evidence for your argument. It's not claiming victory. You've come to a brick wall, go around another way.
But that's where the logical fallacy comes in.
No, the logical fallacy has already come and gone at that point. If the assertion is not made with evidence, then somebody can say, well, Hitchens' razor applies. Now, if you're going to claim that that's a victory by asserting Hitchens' razor, no, it's not a victory. It is a loss from the person that's making the assertion because the assertion's failed, but it's not a victory. It's just technically...
So hang on. Your opponent has lost and you're not going to claim a victory.
Correct.
The gift that he should see is gears to see ourselves as others see us.
But he's not making an assertion, Mark. Mark, he's not making an assertion. He's challenging the assertion that's being made, so he can't count it as a victory. As he says, it's a loss on the part of the person who's made a false assertion. False because it's fallacious.
So if your opponent's lost, then do you get the victory?
No. If the assertion fails in the first place, no, there's no victory.
So hang on a minute. If Liverpool beat Man United 2-0... Hang on a minute. If Liverpool beat Man United 2-0, who gets the victory?
Yeah, but that's where there's two sides to the argument, right? In the case where
you'd be celebrating with a bottle of champagne if that
Yeah,
happens.
but Mark, you're talking about the end game. What we're talking about by calling fallacy is simply a point in the process. It is a point scored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's simply a point
agree
in.
with you. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I
So it's up
agree
to
with
the
you.
opponent to come back with a better argument. If they're going to sit there having a tantrum,
yes, but they
it's up to
still
them.
might be right.
Then the game is won if they don't come back with a better argument. But they have to learn to come back with a better argument. Usually with some evidence attached.
They may have a victory on that particular moment, but they still might be right.
No, there's no victory on the moment. That's the Mark. Listen, if the assertion fails because there's no evidence to support it, there's no victory. There's only the loss from the person that's made the claim in the first place. Now, if you claim a victory,
okay. Well, listen, I remember
really got a victory.
And so, when you say there's absolutely no categorically evidence for, and you use that quite regularly, are you basing that because your opponents have used logical fallacies?
No, I'm using
that
because
you love that phrase. Is abs. Okay, that's fine. Let's listen. We're all guilty of using logical fallacies, even though we're aware of it.
Can I just give a quick example, Mark? Sorry to interrupt you, Anthony. So imagine for a second that there's a concaver on the panel, and the concaver is debating with the globe earther, and the concaver points out that the globe earther has used a logical fallacy. That doesn't mean that he's suddenly proven his point that the Earth is concave. It just means that he's taken apart a fallacy in the argument of the globehead.
Yeah.
Equally, a flat earther could take the same argument to pieces, and it doesn't prove flat Earth. It just proves fallacious reasoning on the part of the person making the claim, in this case a globe earther. So it disproves his version of events.
Right. Okay.
Doesn't prove your version.
I'm going to talk to you. I'm talking to you right now, Nathan. As soon as somebody uses a fallacious argument, you pounce on it and you rub it in their face and you don't let them move from what they just said. It's all part of your show, isn't it?
Well, it's part of taking apart someone's argument. Yes, it's part of the show because the show is about taking apart people's argument in debate.
Fallacious argument is also part of that reasoning.
Yeah, but Nathan doesn't allow them to come back with a better argument. You will hammer them and push them until they have to hold their feet to the fire.
Evidence for months and months and months.
Exactly. That's the same question. I haven't declared a loss or a win in regards to radius, for example, Mark. So every day I say any proof of Earth radius. So, despite the fact that we've had dozens and dozens of arguments pulling apart their logical fallacies, I'm still asking, have you got any evidence? So I haven't declared a win, I'm still asking.
Okay.
Yeah, but Nathan, you know you do that. If you see a weakness in somebody's argument, you will hold them to that and don't let them come back with a better argument.
Of course.
Well, it's very entertaining.
Well, no. I'm not saying don't come back with a better argument. I'm saying this is a fallacious argument.
You don't give them an inch. You do not give them an inch
on their argument that's fallacious. Yeah, on their argument that's fallacious.
Mark, you seem to be misinterpreting what's actually happening. You think that people are gloating in the fallacious the fallacies arguments, but they're not. It just means that the argument fails. That doesn't mean that there's a victory claim. It just means that the assertion fails. That's all. It's not a victory.
Okay. I agree with you on that, but then don't claim a victory.
When does that ever happen?
Well, we just got to analyze ourselves, don't we?
No, I think you need to recalibrate your senses. I think you might have your senses a bit out.
Yeah, I think we can all agree here, Mark, that we've won this argument.
I missed that.
Victory comes when down the path there's lack of evidence. And that's where all these formological fallacies lead, is down that eventual path to the evidence that can't be supplied.
Look, can I get a concession? Will Mark concede that we have definitely taken the victory here?
Piss off. What did Alan say there?
Somebody has to take the victory, right, Mark? So who is it? It isn't you. Definitely isn't you.
Okay, my claim is that using logical fallacy is shaky ground. Just because you call out a logical fallacy doesn't mean that you are right. It just means that there's faulty reasoning being presented.
Yeah, but it's all part of the debate, isn't it?
Oh, it is, absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I want to get a little point right here. Asking for the proof of Earth radius R value is not a difficult argument. If they believe they live in a sphere with a radius, they should knock this out of the park quick, easy. Why it hasn't happened yet?
I didn't follow what you meant there, Jose.
The truth should be on
When
their
the housekeeping
side.
questions are asked, are supposed to be real questions. We want evidence, scientific proof of the R value, the radius of the Earth. This is an easy question that any bowler should be able to answer, but they are not coming to answer the question. So it's not a difficult answer. They got all the slack in the world to give us evidence, but it's not being presented. That's where the question keep being asked.
Well, I think that's where the reification fallacy comes from, and I'm sort of getting my mind around that. Because they have a map of a globe Earth doesn't mean that it is a globe Earth. And I have been informed by Anthony bringing this to our attention.
It's making things real when they're not. That's basically what it means.
Yeah.
Turning
just my point was that just don't claim a victory over your opponent because they use faulty reasoning. They may still be right.
But again, no one thinks that there's a victory here other than you. It seems.
No, I'm I'm not claiming victory
Get it,
anywhere
Mark.
or seeing
Get
any
it.
victory.
No, there is no victory. It's very clear. So it's just it's nothing.
I think Mark's the
Great.
only one on this page.
Right. So
Say that again,
please.
Anthony.
Please, Mark. Come on. Let's move on.
I think Mark's
Are you losing interest, Arwen?
Molten Iron Core?
This is a highly semantical aspects. Yeah, it's
We're not through housekeeping yet.
Molten Iron Core? Anyone?
Yeah,
Anyone?
good point. 50 minutes into the show.
Right.
Don't get onto radius.
No, there is no proof that there is even a layer. There's proof of volcanoes, but yeah, how deep they go? There's no layer where it all ends up in. No. There's no evidence of that. Any kind.
Well, maybe we could round it out because this is coming up for the end of the show. But is there any evidence of the R value that's been batted around?
No.
Never.
The reification fallacy.
10 people in the panel are here. 3 no's. Who got a yes?
Did we get
Listen, Anthony, I think you just fall into a really comfortable cushion with the reification fallacy.
So?
And you're going to just sort of be cozy in your little cushion and nobody's going to have any good arguments against your position.
If you guys treat stuff as
It's the
concrete,
logical-
physical, without any evidence to
No.
support it, I'm right. I'm going to be comfy in my position. The reification fallacy.
I think you're falling for the logical fallacy by using that one.
No. No, come on.
Well, you're entitled to your view, Mike. But if you think that's going to excuse you of the need for evidence, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken.
No explanation.
Anthony, are you sitting down? Brace yourself for a shock. I'm actually on your side. You're
Really?
just nitpicking. Yeah,
No.
you're nitpicking on.
Asking for evidence, Mark.
Mark, can you stop being reasonable?
I missed that. What did you say, Alan?
Can you stop being reasonable?
Let me just say that again in case it was missed. If you really were on the same wavelength that I'm on, Mark, you'd be asking for evidence. You wouldn't be conjecting as though things were real. And that is what you seem to be doing.
Evidence for what, Sunshine? Come on.
The assertions that you believe are true, Sunshine.
And what? All right, Sunbeam, what assertions do you disagree with?
This gravitational force. Yeah.
Anthony, you and I need a one-to-one with no interruptions.
Come on. So you said.
Did you hear that, Anthony?
Good luck with that.
I did. So you say.
I'm missing all. The signal's gone really bad. Will you give me a one-to-one, Anthony?
Would I give you a one-to-one?
Yeah.
Well, only if you give me some evidence on which we can have a discussion on. Otherwise, it'll be a one-to-one with a reification fallacy.
I'm missing
leave
all
him in
this.
his own bubble, dude. Just let it go.
Who was,
Come on.
who was that to, Anthony?
Please.
I think, is it Nathan with the background noise?
No.
I don't know. I think it's my Bluetooth battery running out. I'll talk to you tomorrow, folks.
All right.
Hi, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
That went well.
I don't think we could hear the last few sentences.
Really. I'm going to on that note, unless someone wants to make a last point.
Jose.
R.
No es plano.
R.
Sí, la Tierra es plana.
La Tierra es plana.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. You've probably done it already. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Say again, Travis?
I was just saying that was a huge waste of time. It was so painful.
Yeah, I agree. It was Mark was trying to get basically trying to challenge Riley on the semantics game, and he was out of his league. He doesn't have the tools to deal with that properly. Doesn't have the proper insight. I think I barely do.